Okay, hello and welcome, Alternative Healthcare Solutions community. I am so glad you're here with me today. I'm Kate Simpson, for those of you I have not met yet. I'm really excited about today's workshop because we're just going to be sharing just stories of average people using energy healing for, positive life change. And I've done a lot of workshops throughout the past year with this community, and you can see all of those workshops when you just search here in the community under the workshop sections. There's replay, there's hundreds of hours of workshops from all these amazing practitioners. And I've loved sharing all kinds of topics and information with you, but I wanted to do something a little different this month so that you could really get a picture of, where people come from and the type of change that happens when you do this type of energy work consistently. So that's what I wanted to share today. So I have some friends with me who have worked with me. They're going to share a little bit about their stories and the changes that have happened in their lives. So I hope this will be fun and interesting. For those of you who are new and you're not familiar with energy healing, I am an emotion code practitioner, a body code practitioner, a global energy method master practitioner. I use frequency and sound healing to support my clients as well. So I really kind of combine everything that I know together when working with clients. And so you really just get what your body actually needs. But I'd love to just start by just sharing a little bit on the foundation of trapped energy and what trapped emotions are, if you've ever heard that phrase. And if you really think about your body is made up of energy. And in fact, everything is energy. You're an energy being living in an energy world. You interact with energy. The individual parts of your body are made up of energy. And so we have to understand that because we're an energy being, we're used to moving energy, interacting with energy. We just a lot of times haven't been taught that. We haven't had that explained to us. So if you think about it, your physical body and your thoughts and your emotions are energy. And a lot of us find ourselves in situations as life goes on where we're having emotional patterns or habits or reactions that maybe we can't control sometimes. Other times, maybe we're feeling like we have some kind of chronic issue, an ache or a pain, or we have an actual condition, and we're told in the traditional community that we're just going to have to live with it. And all kinds of things happen because at the purest form, when these things are going on, we have stuck or suppressed energy. So I like to show it kind of like a wave. You're a human being and you have feelings and emotions. So feelings are just one type of energy that you experience on a regular basis. We all feel things, yes? And so what happens is you experience something in life, you witness something, you see something, maybe you have a thought, and that thought will generate a chemical reaction in your brain. Then your organs and glands of your body produce this energy, this vibration, and we call that an emotion. And it works like this. Your body produces an emotion, you feel it, and then it moves right along. It processes. And that happens every single day, multiple times a day. You're feeling and releasing and feeling and releasing. Now, I promise that every single one of you does this successfully without even thinking about it every single day. However, there are many, many times where we start to feel something, and maybe it's too overwhelming, too scary, too frustrating, too whatever. And instead of allowing that process to be felt and then processed along, we suppress that energy. We shove it down and we lock that down in our body. So we call that in my industry trapping an emotion because now essentially that energy is trapped inside your body. And wherever that energy is trapped, that vibration is now disrupting tissues, muscles, organs, glands, brainwave functions, all of these things. And so a lot of times when people come to me and say, I have this chronic pain and it's just now it's my pain, they've owned it, it's just part of their life. And, I go to the chiropractor and I get a little bit of relief, or I go and I get a massage, I get a little bit of relief, but it comes back. Or maybe I have this pain because of this accident or because of this thing. We give a reason for our pain. And understand it's just a vibration of energy that is suppressed in the body. And so if we can identify that energy and release it from the body, then your body can do exactly what it's designed to do. And that's rebalance, repair, and self-heal. Just like you get a cut, right? Your body knows how to heal from it. It might take a little time, but your body knows how to repair it. When you break a bone, right? You need the doctor to set it, to put it in the proper, location, put it in the right direction, right? But what happens is they put the cast on and your body heals itself. So your body knows how to heal. And your body knows how to heal emotionally, and physically. It just, we have to give it what it needs. We have to help that energy move for that process to happen. And so whether it's an emotional um, tragedy or emotional trauma, or emotional pain, emotional something really disturbing happened, or whether it's something that is just your everyday life, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling overwhelmed, or whether it's a physical injury, all of that are vibrations of energy. And if we can support the body by moving the energy out that's suppressed, then your body can heal. So that's a little bit about how energy works. There's lots of modalities. Many modalities add energy into the body. Some move energy out of the body, and they're all incredibly beneficial. What I love about the emotion code is how quick and easy it is, how laser focused. We can just find exactly what's trapped and we can let it go. And the best part is you don't have to think about it. You don't have to relive it. You don't have to remember why the energy was trapped. You might want to explore those things, and you're welcome to do that. But to release the energy, we don't have to know any of that. We don't have to talk about it. This is not therapy. There's incredible value to therapy, but this is not therapy. I'm just helping to support finding and releasing that energy and letting it go and letting the body do its own healing. So I want to share a little bit about how simple it is and start sharing some of these stories from my fans here who have worked with me many times and had some incredible results. But you'll find that they're just, again, average people like you and me. And they all come from different backgrounds and they've all had incredible results with energy healing. So if I could, I would love to start with you, Lisa, if that's okay. If you could jump on. Lisa and I met a while ago, and it was amazing because when we just started talking, you knew absolutely nothing about energy healing at all. So can you share
No,
a little bit about your journey from when we met?
sure. Well, I don't know how deep you want me to get in, but when we first met, yeah, I was so curious. So lifelong, I have had depression issues and I've been a counselor and I'm very interested in like just how to make ourselves better, right? And when I heard your presentation, I think I did a workshop of yours similar to this, and I was just really curious. And what you were saying, like I kind of I understood it, but I didn't understand like what do you do? Like what does that really mean? What does that action look like? What does that feel like? I didn't understand the process. So I booked a coffee chat with you because I was just really curious. And it was wild. So it was a 15-minute coffee chat. We just kind of chatted, got to know each other because you're sweet and wonderful, and we got to talk. But during the whole time, I was sitting down and I had chronic back pain issues. I've had kind of over probably about 6 or 7 years by that point. And my lower back, it was like a bullseye. It was just like on fire. It just was really incredible ache and it hurt. And it was intense while we were sitting chatting. I mean, I didn't mention it, but I knew it was there the whole time. And so at the end of the coffee chat, you did your energy clearing just to give me a sample and see what it was like. And it was wild. So after you found whatever block and released it, and the pain went away. And it was like a warm flushing went right up my spine, like a deep massage or like an IV. Like there was a flushing, a warming sensation that literally it like released. I could feel it release, and it literally went all the way up my spine. And then once that happened, I'm like, okay, this is wild. I don't know what the magic is, but I'm in. So I literally just had this really intense physical response to it. And it was so pronounced in that moment. It was just wild. It was wild. So I've been in and curious since then.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember you sharing that with me, and I had no idea that you were in any kind of pain when we were chit-chatting. A lot of times people just get used to their pain and they just deal with it. And so this was wonderful that we just asked what needed to be released, and you felt that immediate reaction.
Yeah.
I will share that some people really feel energy move, like Lisa does. She feels it. And other people don't, or they may or may not realize that they're feeling energy move. So sometimes when you're working with me, you'll start yawning, right? Other times you'll get really hot or you'll get really cold. You'll experience that temperature change. You'll feel this sensation that Lisa shared, or you'll feel tingling or something like that. Other times you just might, that's it. You just need a nap afterwards or something like that. Other times you just feel lighter. I think that's probably the most common thing I hear from people is they feel lighter after a session. So there's lots of ways that you can notice it and feel it. And you may not notice it at all, but it's definitely working for sure. So Lisa, so we've had some other interactions as well after that. And I know you've participated in a couple of just individual healings with me. You've done a program that I've done where it was like 5 days of healing. Can you share just kind of some of the changes that you've noticed as far as whether that be physical or emotional or what you've experienced with the sessions we've done?
Sure. And specifically the energy healing as opposed to sound frequency, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So man, it's so mental health has been a journey of mine since I was young. And like I said, I've studied it and I've done everything you can do. Like I've been to all the therapies, I've done EMDR, I have a trauma in my background. And I remember when I first did your clear path to success, um, be careful what you wish for. I wanted to tune into my higher self, right? Which I was carrying a lot of grief coming into it. And I was in therapy. I don't think I've told you this either. I was on antidepressants and anxiety medicine for a period of about 10 years, and it's been off and on throughout my life. Um, and before I came into the energy work, I was working on coming off of those. Excuse me. I had been in like this brain fog with the medication for a lot of years. And I had been to the doctors and they were running tests like, what's wrong with, try this, test this, give you this supplement, do all these things. And it was not on purpose, but I ended up coming off of one of the medications and my brain fog lifted. And so I started seeking out these other ways to process and heal. Because, like I said, I've been through a lot of therapy in my life. And when I came to you, I was just heavy. I had a lot of grief in my life. And it's grief that I could logically understand. It's grief that I'd process theoretically, but some of it was just big, and heavy. And it was just no matter what I did, and I tried a number of things leading into that, it was just there. It was just this, like you said, that weight was just there. And it was also recurrent thoughts. It was invasive thoughts. It was bad dreams. There was a number of symptoms that come along with that. Um, And it was so in the 5 day clear path to success, which I've done twice now, I just finished again. The first day is all about releasing the blocks. And it was interesting to me because Kate, you don't know a lot of my life story, but that first day, Kate will give you the age. Okay, this type of energy was blocked at this time in your life. And it was every major event that I knew in my life. Like major when I had my son, I was a teen mom. There was some traumas. Like she went through every age, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what that is. I know it, and you didn't know my story, so again, it was validating to know that you're dialing into something very specific within me that is not something you could have guessed. So that's the clearing, but also that grief just lifted. It just wasn't there. Like no matter what I did, that weight had been there. Um, and I just thought that was amazing. And I had that same experience in this most recent round when you're pinpointing very specific times within my life. I did notice, and I just put this together in the last couple of days. After that session, I finally like dialed in what I wanted to do. I've been traveling more. I went and worked in like an art museum because I can run my business from anywhere. And that's become my life now. Like I literally travel and work. Um, I also, there were big beliefs that I needed to let go of to really get there. And I had some major stuff turn around in my family, some major stuff come to life within that couple of weeks, which was very disruptive, but also was a whole paradigm shift in how I viewed myself and my belief system. So, like, just moving that energy and trying to go that direction, so many things start. It literally was clearing the path. Like, here, okay, well, you need to deal with this to get to there. And all of it just kind of just happened. I've had a number of physical responses as well. Like, I was having digestive block, earlier in our work. That's cleared. Um, I'm not on any antidepressants now. I'm not on anxiety medicine, and I'm healthy, and it's not for everybody. And that's something that I've weighed over my time, but I've learned how to process and deal with and just release. I even coming into this clear path to success, it had been a heavier summer. There's a lot of patterns within myself that I had to deal with. And same thing. I was in a support group. I was in therapy. I'm in therapy actively, and I value those things, and I'm continuing those things because they're important. But there was still the heaviness, and again, that first day of Clear Path to Success, it just let it go. It just lets the stuff go without having to like just trudge around and talk about it and deal with it. So yeah, I'm grateful. I think mostly the mental health has been like hugely impactful for me and just releasing traumas and the heaviness that comes along with some of the depression issues that I deal with. So I'm grateful.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I mean, it's just so many people do struggle with, things like depression, anxiety, and we have, trauma that stems from childhood. And if you can just, again, clear it out, it's amazing how your body can just support and balance itself. So thank you so much for being here, Lisa, and sharing. I appreciate it so much. Um, I want to move on over to Lynette. Hello, my dear. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, good. So Lynette and I met, has it been 2 years? Almost 2 years? Something?
I feel like at least.
Yeah, maybe longer. Okay. We've been friends for a while, and she is another one that I know knew nothing about energy healing when we first met, and I put her on the spot. We were at a networking convention, and I did a training, and I put her on the spot and gave her an experience of emotion code.
Mhm.
And we're going to come back and do some releases for all of you today as well, so we can show people. Um, but I remember I just like brought you up and you had no idea what was about to happen. And I would love for you to just kind of share a little bit about your experience working with me.
Sure, sure. Yeah, so I don't even know where to start. I'm sitting here thinking, and I was glad I didn't go first because I was like, there's so much that I want to say because it's just so amazing and it can help in so many different ways. And I really haven't narrowed anything down. It's just fantastic. I think um the one thing that I would say now on this side of the journey, like having started obviously where most people start, is what is energy healing? Is energy healing for me? How does it work? Right? And then once you experience a little bit of it and you realize, oh, that was a positive experience for me. I want to repeat that, right? And then you start developing the habit of having consistent sessions and whatnot. I would say be very specific and be very intentional with where you want to focus your healing, right? I feel like because I got so excited about the possibilities and all the things, I was kind of all over the place, right? And like Kate has worked on like everybody in my family, and so we all have stories and we all have wins and successes in different ways. But that's what I've learned from that experience is if you're really intentional and you're super specific, stay with it, right? Like stay with that focus of what you want to accomplish because like Lisa was saying, it's not just like a one and done, right? There's things that you need to work on, patterns and behaviors and beliefs, right? So approach the energy healing just like you would anything else long term for your health benefits, like diet, supplements, exercise, that sort of thing. Approach it that way would be like my best advice that I could give you if you're just starting out. Don't spread yourself so thin like I did and like ask for all these different things, right? But like not really go deep. So when I sort of like honed in a little bit and really started to focus on like, hey, what do I really want to change in my life, right? And instead of being distracted by like the symptoms, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to plug holes with like the different symptoms that I was experiencing. If you're an online entrepreneur, you understand like it is a massive amount of stress, right? Like probably more than the average person. Um, and a lot of times emotionally, you can feel really alone because if you're not also an entrepreneur and you're not working for yourself and you're not in the online space and you're not constantly bombarded with the speed of social media and there's just different factors and different triggers in your life, you can feel really isolated because not everybody understands your lifestyle, your business, what you do, and what you're going through, right? So there's just a lot of things coming at you in life and business, right? But then also that feeling of loneliness. So the emotional aspect of it. Um, so energy healing is really so complementary for people like me because it really gets you. You know what I'm saying? It's like it knows you very, very well. Every treatment is so customized to you, and so that's a really good feeling. It's a very safe feeling, right? To kind of like be in this space and say and be able to say like this therapy or it's not really therapy, but this modality, I should say, is very helpful for me, right? So that's great. That's amazing. Um, Going back to people relating and that feeling of isolation, when I really honed in and focused on not just the symptoms, like I said before, but really like what is the core, like what's going on here? What's like the deeper issues, that's when everything really started to break open, and in between sessions I would be like messaging Kate and leaving her voice notes of like, oh my God, this is amazing, like I had this like incredible breakthrough, because we just kept at chipping away at the root cause, right? Which for me, that's where I really found that spring, that well, just kind of like overflowing with healing um time and time again when I just was very intentional, just focused on let's just keep going with this issue, this thing that's really bothering me, until we completely dissolve it, right? Not just like, oh, today's session is going to be on this, and the next week's session is going to be on this. And then in between that, we're going to do some things for other people too, which is great. Like I said, my family has had amazing results and overall and for completely different things, like it's just the range, there's like no limit to energy healing, right? Because the only limit really is you, right? What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to receive in terms of healing, right? And when you're ready to let go of it, like what's coming to mind right now is my oldest daughter. She had what Kate referred to as like a body wall, right? And they have to give this body wall um, some sort of boundaries, right? We have to like somehow be able to visualize it and sort of to be able to track the progress is the way she explained it to me. So when she started working on my daughter, her body wall was like, I don't know, like 2.5 miles long. And I was just like, what? I'm like trying to picture 2.5 miles of energy. And I'm like, that's insane. But as she continued to work on that body wall, it kept getting smaller and it kept getting smaller, it kept getting smaller until it was completely dissolved. And one of the things Kate said to me was that it required her on a subconscious level to be ready to let that go, for it to even show up on the scan, right? For it to even be something that she had to acknowledge it in order for this session and the healing to even take place, right? And then once she got rid of that, she completely emerged out of her shell that she had retreated into um, in her preteen years, right? And so it was like getting back a part of her that had some gone away just with age and conditioning, and just being um, in society and whatnot. She had just retreated within herself a little bit, and so then she came back, and it's just been amazing to see the positive changes in her, specifically in regards to that. That's just one example. um, but I'll never forget that feeling of like 2.5 miles of energy. What even is that? Like, how does that even work, and how does that fit in somebody's body? And it just blew my mind. I'm just so fascinated by how flexible energy healing is, and how it can really permeate any part of your life, whether it's physical or emotional or mental. I've experienced different types of healing across all those areas of my life. um, I would say the one that stands out the most for me right now, would physically speaking, is migraines. I used to suffer from migraines a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And as a result of doing sessions, some maybe one session we talked about migraines, right? Because I had been in this pattern of just like a session for this, a session for this, a session for this, whatever was bothering
We
me
did
that day.
migraine, we did hormones, we did.
Yeah, we were just I was all over the place, And but I noticed after a couple of months and then a few months, I was like, wow, like I'm getting them less and less and less. And if I did get one, it definitely was way less intense. It was less time wise, right? All the things. And slowly but surely it was, until I got to where I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months without one, which, when you have any ailment that is chronic, sometimes it takes you a while to even realize that it's not as bad as it was, because you just get so used to it.
Mhm.
And then one day you're just like, oh my gosh, wow, like I really don't have that anymore. I don't have to identify with it anymore. I don't have to accept that as a limitation in my life anymore, because I really do not suffer from that affliction anymore. And it's just life changing as far as the quality of your life. And this is at any age, because anybody who's suffered chronically from a physical, mental, emotional condition because of trauma or whatever has happened to them, it doesn't matter how old you are, the relief that you feel to not have that weight anymore, like it's incredible, right? The only thing I can say is, of course, obviously, I wish I would have met Kate sooner. I wish I would have started sooner. But I'm so thankful that I've got my children um, working through these things and listening to their frequencies and doing all of these things at an age where I wasn't even thinking about any of that, So while I maybe can't go back in time for myself, it's almost like I'm going back in time, because I'm passing it forward to my kids decades before it was ever introduced to me, to my life. So I feel really good about that.
That's incredible. Yes. And it's so cool because just to hear like, oh my God, my daughter's coming out of her shell, and like my headaches are gone, and I'm feeling more stable, and all these different things. It's really rewarding just to see all the change that happens, and just to kind of share with energy healing work. And you're going to see a demonstration of it. We're going to go through and release energy from all three of these lovely volunteers today, and you'll see how simple and easy it is, and how fast it is. And the best part is like for children, they don't have to be on a phone call with me. They don't have to be on a Zoom. I just basically need some information about them and your permission as a parent or guardian, and I can work on children as well. And it's amazing. Like they were just doing whatever they were doing. They were in school playing softball, whatever, and I would be working on them. And so to see that result in your kids as well is pretty special. So thank you so much for sharing, Lynette.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
I now want to introduce you to the incredible Scott Svikowski, who has been someone who has been with me since the beginning of me doing this work. And I would love for you to just introduce yourself and share a little bit more about your experience.
Man, all right. How much background do you want?
Whatever you feel you can share.
Well, I'll share my healing background since that'll kind of give a little bit more perspective. I'm a Holy Fire Reiki master, Holy Fire Karuna Reiki master, Usui Reiki, Ryoho Gakkai Reiki master. I also do Kundalini activations, and I'm a Shiwamurti level 1 healer, which is a Balinese healing art. So I get to experience everything that these two amazing people just talked about. Now I'm really glad I didn't even go second because Lena, you were like saying stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So, like Kate said, I've been with her from the beginning. As a healer, my whole philosophy is healers need healers, right? And energy is frequency, vibration, as Kate talked about, and understanding that we're made up of so many different versions of that, right? It's not just one frequency, it's millions of frequencies happening all at once, right? So we need to have so many different modalities out there to be able to handle the different ones. And Kate's stuff is some of the best that I've been able to experience because I love how instant it is. I also play a sport called Gaelic football, which is very similar to rugby. So it's not gentle on the body. So there's a lot of stuff that I come to Kate to. So I've been able to see her progress from the beginnings to where she is now, and it's unbelievable. She's my first go to, my first call all the time. And many, many, many times, if not always, when I then go to other healers after I've worked with Kate or vice versa, it's always verified through other healers as well, the stuff that she does. So it's pretty amazing. So some of the main things that I always come to Kate for is I always come to Kate for physical stuff first, right? So my whole thing is if I can't fix it myself, I go to Kate. So, a lot of times Gaelic football, getting tackled, shredding ankles, busting knees, broken collarbone. I've come to Kate for all these things, and there's always something there that's dysregulated in the energetic body. It's not just, oh, you got hit. You got hit there because something was attracted to there, right? We attract things. There's something that needs to happen and heal in that area. And guess what? You haven't done it yet. So we're going to put something in that way to draw attention to that. For me, it seems to always be something physical. So we're going to break out of that soon, Kate. But it's amazing, like a lot of you said, it happens so instantly. And she always said, how do you feel after the session? Well, I feel light, but I can feel my knee tingling. I can feel the release happening. I'm pretty sensitive to that stuff, so I get the pleasure of being able to really experience the physical aspects of it and get the shakes and the quakes and all the feelings that go with it and really feel the release happen. And sometimes physically, I can, if, depending on what type of zone I'm in, I can physically see the energy leaving my body, which is really incredible. So she's always my first call when it comes to the physical. And obviously, everybody has physical things that they're dealing with. And as she talked about, there's usually some type of emotion that's associated with it, right? It's emotional baggage on this part of your body, and your body's trying to do its thing, but it can't, right? And then you get all the goodies that go after it with the hot and the cold when the body is re-regulating because it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't been able to flow like this in a long time. It's putting the right oil in your car, right? If you put 89 instead of 87, and your car just might not run as good as it might. So it's putting the right oil in the right place, which is great. I always love, this has become my favorite part of working with Kate is the inherited emotion side, right? We can absorb emotions from others, we create our own emotion. Then we have these inherited emotions, which I didn't really dive into until I started working with Kate and starting to understand, oh, this isn't absorbed. This isn't even mine. This was given to me when I was in my third trimester hanging out with mom. And something happened and I was like, all right, I'll just take that so you guys don't have to deal with it. Right. Um, and that's something that we do on an unconscious level. So when we're going throughout our day and we're unconsciously absorbing other people's energy, or like Kate said, we hit a peak and then it kind of gets stuck there, you have to have somebody put it under a microscope for you, right? Because when it goes past our own conscious mind, we have to have some way to get there. So I always love when inherited emotion stuff come up because the other thing I talk about with my clients a lot is when you heal, other heals. And Linda, you kind of talked about it going forward, but it goes backwards too. I mean, you can literally change your past and change your whole ancestry family when you do this type of work. It can go that deep, and I won't get too deep because we're just average people experiencing healing every day. So, but yeah, it goes backwards as it does forward and all around, right? So energy doesn't adhere to our linear way of thinking about space and time. So, um, whenever I feel emotional peaks and spikes, and like I'm just reacting so differently than I normally would, right? Why am I getting instantly to anger, right? Instantly to 100, instantly to 100, right? And then I call Kate, and it's just like, oh, well, there's, you got this thing going on, you got this thing going on, and then we do a session, and then it's just like complete ease, right? There's no peaks anymore. Maybe it's a little bump, but my body has that ability to process that emotion faster, which is really what we want. And Lisa, you talked about some stuff that just made me think about that we're onions, right? It's one layer. It's an ongoing process, right? It might be something that comes up again. Well, I thought we dealt with it. Well, we did at that layer and that level. But now you're consciously ready for the next layer, right? This goes deeper, right? All the way to the core. We got to peel and peel and peel. So it's a truly wonderful thing that I can go on a run and have that peeling happening while Kate's just ripping and doing her thing and rocking and rolling. Or maybe I'll be at a tournament or a martial arts tournament because I also do karate, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing this right now. I got a big thing coming up. Um, when I was in Skopje in Macedonia, I couldn't sleep. And just me being more of an energy guy, I could feel there was things happening. I texted Kate from North Macedonia. I'm like, I need some help here. It's 2 days. Everything I'm doing is not working. I need you. I need your frequency, right? So, and then we were able to take care of it, and I slept like a baby. So, yeah, it's pretty wonderful. And I would say one of the biggest things I've noticed, especially going back to the inherited emotions, is just seeing the relationship with my dad. Not that there was ever truly anything consciously there. It was all in the subconscious and deep and unconscious stuff. And I just realized how our conversation started to flow as he kept coming up. And it's not like I was coming to Kate and being like, hey, I want to work on this about my dad. I want to work on this about my dad. It's just like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's an inherited emotion from 3 generations ago. So he's affected by this. My brothers, my grandparents, or everybody. So all of a sudden, I start to hear our phone calls. They're a little different. He's asking more about me. Normally, when we got on the phone, he likes to brain dump and da 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 da, which I'm used to as a healer being that sounding board. But all of a sudden, it's like, oh, he's asking about me. And now it's totally the other way. He just wants to know everything that's going on with me. He's the one listening. There's this extra connection there that not, again, consciously aware of, but it was just like, oh, wow, this is a different relationship. We've hit a new level of love and connection that I didn't even know was we needed to, right? But all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, we're on this next level of father-son relationship, and it wasn't anything I was consciously aware of. So that's one of the most important things about what Kate does is she'll find the things that we're not aware of and that are affecting us and that are in our programming. And I think you said belief systems, Lisa. And that's the biggest one, right? One conversation for 10 seconds can create a belief in you. With someone you've never met, and all of a sudden you have a belief that's with you for the rest of your life. And you're like, this has been affecting me and running my background computer the whole time. You gotta get rid of it. You gotta find it. You gotta find the virus and get the good codes in there. So yeah, all right, that's my spiel. I've gone forever.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I totally forgot. There have been times for sure where like pure emergency texting, oh my gosh, this is happening. And like, the one time that you were in Macedonia, I had forgotten about that. Another time I was like going somewhere and you texted me and I'm like in my car and I don't have my normal stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to just dive in here. And I started texting you like, okay, release this, that. um, but it's incredible too, because here you're working on yourself, and yet how your father started interacting with you completely shifted. And that's just, it's incredible. So yeah. So this is all the different things that are possible when you just identify what's not there and let it go. And I want to show you how simple and easy it is for this to happen. Energy healing can be simple, it can be easy, and it can be fast. That's the beauty of this. So we're going to do some quick releases for everybody, some rapid releasing. Is that cool? We can find out what needs to be released just today in this moment. But before we do that, I want to just share my screen really quick. So if you are, just curious to learn more about me, just take a screenshot of this. If you're watching here on the replay, this is just how to find me on social media, websites. I've got a free guide you can download on how to prevent trapping some of these energies. And so this is something that, again, is just there if you want to take a screenshot. This is my social media. There are a lot of ways to work with me. And so one of the best things you can do is just schedule a free call and we can kind of talk about your situation and what it might look like. So, but what I want to do now is just jump on back to everyone and let's show you what emotion code is really all about. And okay. So let's dive in. So, okay, we'll start with you, Lisa. We'll just go in the same order if that works. Why not? So Lisa, let's just, is there something specific that you want to address immediately in this moment or just whatever's for your greatest good in this moment?
Greatest good.
Greatest
Yep.
good. Let's Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using muscle testing. And for those of you who are new to muscle testing, it is simply a way to ask the body what's going on. All three of you shared that like, oh, I just zone in and I know exactly what to release. The difference is it's really just your body communicating what it needs. Okay, so I don't get downloads. There are incredible healers that see energy. Scott, I know you can see energy. Other people just get intuitive downloads. Now, I would say my intuition definitely guides me when I'm working in a session, but I don't have like special skills, right? This is something you're an energy being. Any one of you can learn to do exactly what I do. And if that's something that you're curious about, please reach out to me and I can give you some guidance about how to move forward with that. But I'm going to use a process called muscle testing, and it just allows us to communicate with the body. And so when I work with clients, I act as a proxy. My entire practice is virtual. So we don't have to be face to face. Again, I work with children all the time where they're off in school or playing sports and I'm just working on them, that type of thing. So we can be live on the phone, we can be live on Zoom, or we can do it just where we call it an email, where I just do the session and email you results. And so when I'm doing that, I'm going to just ask your body if it's okay for us to connect energetically, and if you're ready, willing, able, and if it's right, safe, and appropriate. And so what I do, and there's a lot of ways I'll do muscle testing. You'll see me doing different things with my hands. But for a demonstration, I'm just going to do the ring on ring today. I'm going to make two little rings with my hands. I'm going to interlock them. And when I pull on them, if they stay strong or the muscles are tight, that's simply like a yes response for the body. And if I pull and they pull apart, that's a no response. And so again, it's just a way for me to ask your subconscious what needs to be released for your greatest good. So we're going to do that right now with you, Lisa. So I know I have your conscious permission, so I'm going to just ask subconsciously, is it okay for us to connect? And that's a yes. Are you ready, willing, and able? That's a yes. And is it right, safe, and appropriate? And that's a yes. So we can proceed now. So I'm just going to ask for your greatest and highest good. Is there energy that we can release right now? And that's a yes. And is this an emotional energy? No, we're not going to start with an emotion. We're going to start with something within the body code system. So I'm using, I have charts, I have apps, I have a way to map the body out. And so we're just going to ask the body where this energy is and what needs to be released. So the first thing is a hydration issue for you, Lisa. So really, it's not something we're going to release. We're just going to kind of do a reset. So we're going to reset your body's ability to utilize electrolytes. So are you someone who drinks a lot of water in general?
generally, but I've been working in a kind of intense environment the last few weeks, and I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've got some hydration. So all I'm going to do now is, again, I'm connected energetically with Lisa, and I'm just going to reset her body's ability to properly utilize electrolytes. So we're going to do that right now. And has that been reset? Yes. And it happens that quickly. Literally, we're just sending that intention through. It's a certain acupuncture meridian. It's called the governing meridian, and it goes from the front of the lip over the head and down the back to the tailbone. So that has been reset. And we're just going to ask, is there anything else we can decode for your greatest and your highest good right now? And that is a yes. And we're still working with hydration. So we've reset electrolytes. Let's see what else comes out here. And now we're going to reset your body's ability to utilize the water that you are drinking or the water that you get from the food that you eat. So you can get hydration from food as well as just drinking water. So we're just going to do a reset for that. Beautiful. Good. All right. So let's see what else we can do for your greatest and highest good right now. And there's a misalignment in your body. And this is within your acupuncture system. So, so we have all of these highways of energy that run through our body. And it's where energy flows, life force energy flows through our body. It supports our organs, our glands. It helps with blood flow. And so one of these meridians has an imbalance to it. And it's actually just misaligned. It's not in its proper alignment. And so it's called the girdle meridian. And this is imbalanced on the right side of your body. So a lot of these meridians, not all of them, have pairs on the right and left side. So your right girdle meridian. So just really quick symptoms here could be discomfort or weakness in the lower back, heavy feeling in the body, difficulty walking, discomfort, coldness, tension, poor circulation of the legs, abdominal fullness, difficult urination, hernias, all of that could be associated with this. So we're going to just realign this meridian so that energy can flow properly through it. So we're going to do that right now. Just that right girdle meridian. And that is now aligned. Beautiful. Good. So anything else we can decode for your greatest and highest good right now? And that's a no. So take a nice deep breath for me and let that out. And how do you feel?
Good. Yeah. It's funny. So I'll really quick. So my hydration has been an issue. Like it's been intense. When we did the Clear Your Path to Success, I've been on the road. So I've been sleeping on these really wonky pillows. And one of the things that came up was not something that you could reset, but you're like, your body's just not happy with the way you're sleeping. You need to adjust your sleep position. And I've been sleeping on these crazy pillows and my neck was getting all kinked up. And it's like, listen, jerk, take care of yourself. It's just funny that came up. So yeah, no, I feel good. I always feel great after. Yeah, it's funny. And the symptoms, like I was thinking, the one residual thing I've still got going on is like a hernia situation,
Oh, okay.
and you just hit on that, so no surprise.
Awesome. Okay, well, good. We'll continue to feel better. Continue. Yes. All right, Lynette, let's dive in for you. So is there something specific, or do you want to just
Right.
say whatever's next for your greatest good?
Yeah, let's just do that. I feel like that would give the viewers a good opportunity to see how specific this tool really is. Like I don't even have to tell it necessarily. It will just pick up on it. So let's just go with that.
Absolutely. Perfect. Okay, so we're just going to reconnect with you. I'm just going to ask if it's okay for us to connect energetically. Are you ready, willing, and able? And is it right, safe, and appropriate? And that is a yes. So let's see what we can decode for your greatest good today.
Okay.
So this is bringing up a misalignment, also with an acupuncture meridian. This is called the Yang linking meridian. And this is misaligned on the left side of your body. So this can cause, chills, fevers, lower back discomfort, and lack of energy. That's just some of the things that can be affected by this. And there's a lot of emotional things that can happen as well when this is imbalanced. So we're just going to realign that left yang linking meridian. And that is aligned. Beautiful. Good. And so let's see, is there more that we can decode for you today? And that's a yes. And so your body wants to release a toxin. So toxins can be from any point in time in your life. They could be something current or something from years ago. They can also exist physically, like your body needs to process something out, or they can exist on an energetic level. So it could be an energetic toxin. So let's discover some type of agricultural toxin of some sort. So it's just needing to be released. And again, sometimes if your body holds on to toxins, it can disrupt bodily systems. It can disrupt a whole lot of hormonal things. And so we want to release that. So we're going to release this agricultural toxin from the body. And we're just going to instruct your body to eliminate it through a normal and healthy elimination channel. And just encourage your body to repair any damage. So has that been released? And it has. Perfect. Okay, so anything else for your greatest and highest good that we can decode right now? And that's a yes. And this is a misalignment within the soft tissue of your body. And this is with the fascia of your body. So something's misaligned. So fascia is connective tissue. It runs through your whole body. It's in your skin. It wraps around your bones, your organs. And this can be misaligned or disrupted in some way. So let's see. In this case, we need to release an emotion first. So before we fix the fascia, we need to release a suppressed emotion. So this is the emotion of wishy-washy. So this is weak or spiritless, maybe undecided or without strength of character, that type of thing. So we're going to release wishy-washy right now. And you're yawning. Keep you. It's okay. So we're going to release wishy-washy. Has that been released? Yes, it has. Good. We're just going to add in some energy of strength right now. Just adding that in. Perfect. Good. All right. Any other emotions we need to release before we correct the fascia? No, we can now correct the fascia. So let's go ahead and just realign the fascia, bringing it back to optimal balance. And that's been aligned. So Lynette is showing us right now her energy is moving. She's a yawner. She always feels it when she starts yawning. Absolutely. All right. Okay, so anything else we can decode and release for your greatest and highest good? And that's a no. Wonderful. Take a nice deep cleansing breath and let that out. Feel good?
Yeah, I'm glad I could bring so much to this live session. I thought I was doing good, which is always it's always fascinating to me. Sometimes the best thing to do is just um be open, to whatever your body needs right now because you may not always know. So
Absolutely.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Awesome. All right, Scott, what would you like to work on today?
Well, I'll be the specific one then.
Okay.
All right. I think, well, there's been a lot of energy coming through this week that maybe a lot of you have been experiencing. Full moon, all that good jazz kind of throws everything off. So I've been finding myself pretty quick to jump to kind of that anger emotion, that anger kind of feeling. So I'd like to just take a look at that and see what needs to be rebalanced there. And coupled with that, kind of like as a supporting emotion, is like a little bit of that victim mentality.
Mm.
So definitely look at that, and then my right knee could still need some healing, so we can get a physical scan.
Okay.
But
All right.
you choose.
All right, so just check into how that right knee feels right now and just kind of notice that. But we're going to start with your initial reaction, which is, okay, these emotional reactions, this victim, also this quick to anger and this victim type mentality. So let's see what's underlying that. So let's just see, is it okay for you and I to connect? And that's a yes. Are you ready, willing, and able? And is it right, safe, and appropriate? It is. Okay, so let's dive in. What's the most impactful thing that we can decode around this issue that you have? So the first thing coming up is a misalignment in the soft tissue and also within the fascia. So a misalignment with the fascia could be anywhere in the body. And so let's see, there is some emotion we need to release before we correct that alignment. And this is the emotion of creative insecurity. So that is suppressed. And so we don't need to know more. We're going to release that, letting that emotion go, creative insecurity. Up and released. Yes, beautiful. I'm just going to add in this energy of just belief, just belief in yourself, belief. Good. Okay. Awesome. So is there more emotions that we can decode before we correct this misalignment? And that's a yes. And this is the emotion of self-abuse. And so self-abuse can mean physical harm, but it can also mean overworking, over worrying, over stressing, having negative thoughts that are consistent. And so you're kind of beating up on yourself mentally. So it can be physical or it can be an emotional, mental type of thing. So self-abuse. So let's go ahead and release that. Letting that energy go for good. And that's released. Beautiful. Good. And just adding in self-love here. And that's been added. Perfect. So any other emotions we can release around this fascia? And that's a no. So can we correct the fascia? We can. So we're going to just realign the fascia, restoring that to proper balance. And that is aligned. Good. Okay. So anything else we can decode relating to these issues that you shared for your greatest good? And that's a yes. So another misalignment. And this is within the chakras of your body. This is your root chakra is misaligned. So it's just not in its proper position. So let's just see, is there anything associated there? Nope, we can just correct that. So we're just going to put the intention to realign that chakra, bringing it back into proper position for optimal balance. And that has been aligned. Perfect. Okay, anything else we can decode for your greatest good today? And that's a no. So beautiful. Take a nice deep breath. Let that out. Good. And how are you feeling?
Relaxed.
Relaxed.
Yeah, it's good. Good. I can feel the root move back and got a nice little wave.
Very good. Very good. So these are just, energy healing can be fast, it can be quick. And again, people feel different things throughout the process, before, during, after the process. But it is non-invasive, gentle, and it's a drug-free way to just really support the body. So hopefully today you got some inspiration and ideas. And maybe it's something that you want to explore further. If that's the case, I would love to chat more. I want to share my screen just one more time and just share how you can get in touch with me for a session. So this is there's many ways to work with me. So I just want to share, you can take a screenshot of this, you can check any of these QR codes to see if it would benefit you. The first QR code is a group session. So I do work with people in groups where I'm working on the entire group at once. And so those are called our inner healing sessions. It's a collaboration I do with one of the other practitioners here. Her name's Jody Solberg. She is a trauma-informed hypnotherapist. And so we do a group session together. You can just book a free consult with me by using that middle QR code, or you can book a private one-to-one session, which is what everybody here has been talking about today, is those sessions that I do one-to-one. So feel free and reach out. If it's just a consult and you want to learn more, I encourage you to do that. It can be an incredibly easy and fast way to make positive changes in your life. So thank you, Lynette, Lisa, and Scott, for joining me today. I appreciate you sharing your stories with everybody here. And thank you, everybody who's watching. Appreciate you being here, and I hope everybody has an amazing day. Thanks so much.
Later.